Let's go ahead and listen now to Donald Trump. He is speaking to reporters after court. Let's listen in together.
Andy McCarthy, if it's unconstitutional for Texas to enforce federal immigration law, how is it constitutional for New York to enforce federal election law? They're going by federal law. It's never happened before. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. This is a witch hunt. This is a witch hunt. This is to damage crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, by far, to damage his political opponent. That's all this is. A highly political judge, a totally conflicted judge, who just did something that nobody's ever seen. And the press is not happy, I don't imagine. They just got thrown out of a courthouse. Nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. These things are consistent. Bragg has no authority to enforce election law. And we did nothing wrong. Ted Cruz has said it's over 200 years. Never once has a president of the United States been indicted over no crime. No crime. Molly Hemingway, very smart woman. This is a show trial. There is no actual crime or evidence. Molly Hemingway, respected by everybody, by the way.
All right, you are listening to Donald Trump there. He is again addressing the media after court, and he is sticking to some of the same talking points that we have heard from him over and over again, calling this a witch hunt and saying essentially this is contamination. And so he is clearly unhappy with how things are going in court today, and we are nearing the end here. But Olivia, I do want to bring you back in here because it's my understanding that Costello, is he going to take the stand again tomorrow? They didn't finish with his testimony today.
Testimony to resume once again tomorrow, Kana, 9:30 a.m. Bob Costello back on the stand. And it's a bit later than what was expected today. Trump's attorney Todd Blanche had initially said that they would rest their case today, that they had just 2 short witnesses, and they would wrap minutes after the prosecutors rested their case. But of course, there was that incident with Costello. The day dragged on, and now he has more testimony to go. So again, he will be back on the witness stand tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for sort of a surprise additional day of testimony here. The case continues.
All right, Olivia. And Kim, just want to follow up with you quickly as well, because you did say, in your opinion, legally, that they could reach a conviction now. The jury could, based on the testimony that they've heard so far. But we also know that Trump's team has filed a motion to dismiss. It's my understanding that that's pretty standard operating procedure for his team to do that. But they're saying at this point, there's no evidence and that they failed to show criminal intent.
Right. They're claiming that essentially the only link between Donald Trump and the hush money payments to allegedly to silence Stormy Daniels to protect him in the election is Michael Cohen's testimony, and that's not sufficient. There needs to be more corroboration in some way. But remember, Kana, you don't have to always have direct evidence in order to get a criminal conviction. A direct evidence would be, I saw it rain. Indirect or circumstantial evidence would be, the grass is wet. No one would say, I don't believe you that it rained just because you saw the grass wet. I need to see the actual rain coming down. And I think the prosecution's argument is they've laid out multiple witnesses, fact testimony, recordings of Donald Trump. There's enough for the jury to find beyond a reasonable doubt that he's guilty as charged.
All right, Kim Wehle and Olivia Rubin, our thanks to both.